In this video, I'm going to talk about the Honda XR and why it's the most popular manual motorbike for the job of traveling across Vietnam. So if we were to exclude Chinese motorbikes like the Honda Win, then this in some ways is the cheapest manual motorbike that you can buy or rent for this country that actually looks and feels like a motorbike. And that really is the primary reason why it's become so popular for traveling across this country. Anyway, in this video I'm going to talk about some of the positives of this bike, some of the negatives, and then we're going to talk a little bit about power, 150cc, and what that means in the real world in relation to advanced riders, let's say. Okay, and we're also going to do some luggage. I'll show you the racks on the back. So first of all, this motorbike is extremely comfortable. It's got soft, bouncy dual sport suspension. Dual sport's the idea of on the road and off the road capabilities. It's got a really wide, very well padded seat for both the rider and the pillion, especially considering it's a dual sport. It is actually comfortable. For a 150cc motorbike, it's got plenty of power for the mountain roads. It's a big bike for this country, but not too big. And it's also very reliable. It's not the most reliable. I'll talk a bit about that later, but it's a reliable machine for sure. Another advantage is that it's got a 12-litre gas tank that goes 200 to 300 kilometers, which is basically an all-day drive in this country. So basically, why would you get something else? Well, as I say in my Honda Blade video, which is the scooter we offer, that is all you need for Vietnam in terms of getting from A to B. You don't need anything bigger or more powerful than that 110cc motorbike. So if money is a factor, the Blade is a better choice. Another reason you might want a bigger, more luxurious for Vietnam, comfortable ride, and then you can go with a Honda CB500X. And then finally, there's the real high performance people, experienced riders who might just want a better bike all round. But for 99% of you out there, this is the right bike. Okay, so I'll just get my spec sheet out because I can't remember, but this bike is 32.8 inches, which is not a big bike, but if you're a shorter person and you're not so experienced, it will put you on your tiptoes and you might struggle with that a little bit. However, if you're a shorter person and you are experienced, this bike will be perfectly manageable for you. If you're someone who's intimidated by the height of this, then you want the winner at 30.7 inches. That's a manual motorbike that literally anyone can drive, at least in terms of height, okay? Okay, so I've talked about reliability and the fact that this is a reliable bike, but I'm going to talk about the negatives of it. This bike is not sold by Honda in Vietnam, which means that Honda don't support it. They don't have the parts for it. If you roll up to a Honda shop here, they might reject you. Having said that, it does share a lot of the parts with the scooters in this country. So it's actually pretty fixable, at least small to medium size issues can be fixed. However, those big issues like entire engine failures, that kind of thing, are much harder to resolve. The XR as well does have a bit of a habit of just burning through oil very quickly. So we recommend if you're using one of these that you check for oil levels every 2 days of driving. It shouldn't burn through oil, but as a bike in general it does, and it does tend to get issues that cause it to burn through oil faster than it perhaps should do. So if you're doing this bike, usual pre-flight checks, PSI, chain lube, checking the tension, and then of course your oil check every 2 days. As long as it's got oil, it's unlikely to have a catastrophic failure. And then of course it's got 17-inch and 19-inch wheels, which is a really weird size. Mechanics don't have the tubes for it, so we'll give you some tubes for this bike. If you use or lose them, we'll charge you $15, but basically you've got to carry tubes with you, which is not that convenient. We'll give you one back, one front. If you're wanting to be super safe, you can do 2 back, 1 front, and you'll use those to repair, to change on flat tires. And then you repair the one that got the hole. All right, with that all said, let's move on to the luggage for this bike. This is an 82-litre Endurostan bag. It's enormous, more than you need for a journey across Vietnam. Now that would sit on the back here, and you would use bungees, which we provide, or rock straps if you're doing a luxurious option that we sell, to then strap it down. You don't really need any more luggage space than this, but if you think you do, then we will add one of these. That will sit on the back, one bag, two bags, and then you would strap it down this way. And your pillion even has a backrest. How cool is that? Very, very, very nice for loading up with luggage. Okay, so let's move on to performance, and the old question on email, is 150cc really enough? Now this is a very hard question to answer without sounding patronizing, so I'm gonna give it a go. The question, is 150cc enough, is the wrong question. If you are a truly experienced rider, you will know that 150cc is ample power for nearly anything you can do. If you look at some of our YouTube videos, I'm driving a CB500X, our ticket guide is on an XR150, I cannot leave him behind. And that is because he's a good driver who knows how to utilize this sort of engine. I cannot believe I can't leave you behind. Yeah. I was like, I'll go a little bit faster. He's still there. Yeah. A little bit faster. He's still there.
Another one took over the truck.
Cannot believe. And also Vietnam's a mountainous country. The roads are twisting and turning. There is a speed ceiling that you can get to regardless of your bike. You just can't go faster than that unless you're trying to win a MotoGP or something without it being extremely dangerous. So a 150 like this with a good rider will easily keep up with a CB500X. The better question is the chassis and suspension good enough? If you send that to me on email, you've got me there. I know you're an experienced rider. That's the question you should be asking, and the answer to that is no, it's crap. But if you don't know you should be asking this question, then you're probably not the kind of rider who's going to push this bike to its limits. For nearly everyone who travels across Vietnam, this is the perfect bike. Soft, gentle, reliable, comfortable, everything else, and they walk away, fly away, very, very happy. However, that extremely experienced rider, this is going to feel like a toy to them. It's wobbly and it's not designed for high performance riding. For those people, you're going to need to spend a lot more on something else or get something like a CB500. So how about this against a CRF 250L? CRF 250! Well, again, for experienced riders, the CRF 250L is going to be a better bike, but that is also a bit of a toy bike, and you should already know that. It's like a toy against a toy, however less of a toy than this. But you're getting a slightly better bike at the consequence of hugely reduced reliability. The XR150 crushes the CRF 250L on reliability, and so this is the better bike, in my opinion, for nearly every single rider. This is your do-it-all, dual sport, little bit of off-road, gravel, road, hey, there's a trail there, I want to see what's at the end of it. That's this bike. If you're wanting to do specifically road, you know you're doing a road journey, you do a CB500X. That middle ground of, hey, I want to go off into a jungle off-roading, that's not a CRF 250L, it's not a CB, it's a guided tour. On specific bikes, we provide CRF 150Ls that are equipped for that. The jungles in Vietnam are crazy. This country is road or off-road, not ADV in the middle. Okay, so that leads us nicely onto the tires. This bike has 70% road, 30% off-road, so dual sport tires, which is what Vietnam is. It's roads with potholes, a little bit of gravel and clay here and there. It's not off-roading. If you're going off-roading, that's a jungle-based guided tour, okay? Basically, tires are good for a lot of different things in this country. The bike is good, reliable, air-cooled, weighs 120 kg, very manageable. The only real downside to this is the suspension limitations and chassis limitations if you're an extremely advanced rider, okay? I will wrap this video up with a question I get asked a lot, which is how much armor and safety gear do I need when I'm renting a bike like a Honda XR? And it's a question that I cannot answer, but I'll give a story.
I love my helmet. See, love it.
Oh my god.
It's happen like. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, this is a bike that you can unleash a lot of power and potential on a mountain road. You can go very, very fast on this bike. If you're that kind of person, when you see that road, you're going to open up, then you need to treat this seriously and armor up, gear up, just like you would back home. On the other hand, this is a bike where you can saunter along like a scooter, take in the scenery, enjoy the country, and not drive quickly. But when you hit that mountain road, you've got to remember you're on a slow holiday and you haven't armored up, you haven't geared up, and not to lose the plot and go for it anyway. You really have to choose your driving style in advance on this bike and armor up accordingly to how you think you're going to drive. And that is a testament to the versatility of this motorbike and what it can do in this country. What an amazing machine. Okay, that's the Honda XR 150 in Vietnam and why everyone rents this bike.